My biggest frustration was I spent 10 years in the military, 8 years on active duty, 2 years in the reserves, and I added it all up. I did the math. Uncle Sam paid me $250,000 of salary. And now it sounds like a lot of money, but stretched out over a 10-year period, and guess what I had to show for? Zero, nothing, nada, wala na. So, by the way, that's Filipino for those of you who don't pick it up. So I had nothing left to show for. I have nothing but a car full of stuff. I had my son, my kids with me, and that's all I had to show for. I said, you know what, enough is enough. How do I live a life that I've been reading about, that I've been seeing about? And guys, this was the era before social media. So I was just seeing magazines, and I was seeing movies, and I was seeing all these different things. I was living in Orange County in the Marine Corps, and I'd see these guys driving on their boats, their jet skis, driving Lamborghinis and Ferraris. I'm like, how do I get a piece of that? I'm sick and tired of somebody else living that life. I want to live that life. I want to have my kids going to those schools. I want my family living in those type of homes. So that's the big motivation of why I figured out I need to become a millionaire, because the life I wanted to live, the life I wanted to have an experience for the rest of my life, I need to make a lot of money. So I'm going to talk about how to become a millionaire in this episode. All right, so if you want to become a millionaire with less than $500 in 3 years, the first thing you got to understand, man, is get your mind right. Okay, get your mind right. What am I talking about? Ask yourself this question. Why do I want to become a millionaire? Why do I want it? Is it because I want to prove somebody wrong? Is it because there's somebody that's constantly pushing me? I'm getting tired of my back being pushed up against the financial ropes of life. I want to play some offense for once. I demand a better lifestyle. I want my children and my family to have options. The last 100 decisions I've had to make in the last 30, 60 days has been somewhat related to money. Like every time I make a decision, an inclusion of the variable of money is always in there. I just refuse to make a decision with money being a variable, because here's what I found. When I wanted to make a decision for the betterment of my family, for the betterment of my future, for the betterment of my life, I realized that every decision I was making, where I wanted to eat, where I wanted to live, the lifestyle I wanted to live, had a variable of there being money. Healthcare, education, travel, there's always a variable of money. Like I was making a decision, boom, I can't do it because finances, boom, I can't do it because of my financial situation, my money situation. When I'm looking at the life I want to live, I said, you know what? I also not only want it, but I got something to prove. I got something to say, you know, fam, I deserve this, you deserve this. I believe, call it corny, but I believe every generation has this one big decision to advance that generation of that family forward. So my parents, our family coming from the Philippines, had their big decision of leaving everybody they knew in their 20s, leaving everybody they knew that they grew up with in their comfort zone to come to America to have a better life. And I just feel, maybe it's corny on my end, maybe you might pick up on this, I don't know, let me know in the comment section below. But I just feel that in my generation, first generation born Filipino American here in the Chicagoland area, in the United States of America, I have a contribution. What's my big decision? So my big decision was to enlist into the military, to serve our country. To not be a burden on anybody, not be a burden on my family, my parents, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, and using the GI Bill to potentially pay my way through college and advance my life to figure out what type of career I wanted to have afterwards. But I didn't realize, as life unfolded, I became a single parent. I could not wait 3, 4, 5 years for hopefully a college degree to complete, to hopefully make me more marketable to get a potentially higher paying job 4, 5, 6 years from now. I couldn't wait. I needed to pay bills today. So, boom. If you want to make $1 million, why do you want it? Number two, do you think you deserve it? You know, oftentimes I see people, as much as you have the fear of failure, you know, the opposite is true. There's also a fear of success. Like I see so many people shoot themselves in the foot, theoretically speaking, not physically, not realistically speaking, but theoretically speaking, they shoot themselves in the foot, or they stand in their own way. Man, I just made 100 grand. Boom. When you can make 200,000, I don't think I deserve it. Why? Do you think you deserve more? Number three, are you willing to work for it? Man, I want to make $1 million, but you know what? I want to do it simple. I want to sit behind a laptop, type a couple things, and hopefully without strategy, hopefully without mentorship, hopefully without accountability, I'm going to make $1 million by selling a couple things online and make $1 million. Yeah, you'll make some money, but unless you're willing to work for it, that's about it. Next one, adopt processes and proof of concept. Do you want to adopt a blueprint? Do you want to use a proof of concept, or are you just trying to wing it and trying to make $1 million, especially with $500, especially in less than 3 years? Or do you want to extend trial and error 10 to 20 years? Or do you want to follow a proof of concept and adopt the process? Listen, the fastest way to make $1 million is to follow somebody who's made it already and do it sooner and faster than they did. Your greatest thank you to somebody who's willing to teach you and coach you, or somebody that's laid out your blueprint. The greatest thank you you have for them is to do exactly what they've done, but sooner and faster. What about the next one? Are you willing to go opposite? Listen, let me ask you a question. If you make $1 million, okay? If you make $1 million, would you be the first person in your entire family to be a millionaire? Would you? I mean, some of you watching this video, maybe you come from a millionaire family. Well, God bless you. But for the 80-90% of the multicultural middle class that's out there, that probably like myself, you weren't surrounded by anybody that made $100,000 a year. You weren't surrounded by anybody that made $200,000 a year, at least legally. You were surrounded by anybody in your family that made $1 million a year that can adopt for you the principles and values and lessons and experience that they learned in that process, in that journey, right? Unless they're willing to teach you and train you, and you had somebody like that in your family, chances are you're out on an island all by yourself going opposite. And that's why your friends and family and people closest to you, your coworkers, or the people you went to college with, your fraternity, your sorority, or in my case, the military, your veteran family, they may not understand you because making $1 million seems like so way out of the ballpark for them. Because truth be told, here's a list of the type of people that make money in our country. Notice the people that make 10% income in our country. Notice the people that make 5% income of the top 5% income in our country. Look at the people that make the top 1% of income in our country. Now, do you know anybody, at least in the 1% income in your entire family? That's not even $1 million yet. But if you say, listen, I want to become a millionaire, you have to understand that my mindset is already pointed and shifted and directed towards something opposite what everybody and my friends and family are currently doing right now. And that's why I'm weird. That's why I'm different. And that's okay. Stay encouraged. And that's why you need to make sure you subscribe to the channel, because there's more of a community out there that are thinking bigger. They're wanting more out of life. They're willing to do more. More importantly, willing to be more.